like to thank you all for coming. It's delightful to see people that are interested in this kind of stuff. I love it here. But one of the things I just wanted to show you real quick were just a couple of real quick tips on YouTube. I don't know if you use it very much, but there are things you can do on YouTube where one of the things that always frustrates me is sometimes I'll bring it up in class. A lot of times I bring it up just 2 minutes before or 3 minutes before the beginning of class, so all the students' eyes are on the YouTube. It's usually something fun or something enjoyable. And then when I start the class, I don't have to try and get their attention because it's already there. I just click into my first slide and I'm going because they're already all looking at the screen. And I have dancing dogs and I have all kinds of fun stuff. But this is an example here of one of the things. You notice this is called Jazz for Cows. It's one of the ones I use. And you notice you got an advertisement. You got all the things down the side. Sometimes things on the side might not be things that you want to be having folks looking at. There we go. Or maybe the ads. And so when that kind of thing has always been a trouble to me because I'm always worried about having to click off real quick. And or even if I'm going to embed YouTube within my my lecture, sometimes I'll put things in there that can be really useful off of YouTube, and I don't want to do that. So what I do, if you notice right here, where it says pop-up, it's just underline pop-up. You put it right in front of the question mark. That's all. And this might be something you guys are aware of, but what it then does, it comes up in full screen mode right into the YouTube itself. And without the sidebar stuff, without the advertisement, with all that other junk. And so then you can just start playing right from the very beginning. So when the students see that, that gets their attention, and they watch it, and I make sure it ends just right when class starts. But another trick you can do, now you can't unfortunately do both of these at once, but this one is if you add at the very end of your YouTube a little $T equals, and then a number M and a number S, you can actually start at a precise point in that YouTube. Now, a lot of times there'll be a YouTube that'll be like 10 minutes long, and I want to come in at about 8 because that's the valuable part. So I can actually launch it like that. Now, unfortunately, you can't do both, but I'll show you why that is. But and so see what that does? That comes in right at that point, and that's the point I wanted to come in at. So at least it bypasses the advertisement. It still gets that sidebar. But those are guys in France, French cows, they really got class. They know what they're doing. They can appreciate good music. So that's kind of fun. Anyhow, these are some of the ones I've got on dancing dogs and stuff, but the kids think I'm a little bit weird. But if you try to do both, and I put both of them now in this, then it comes up with this one. That's the default. And so... but it, and also too, I'd rather almost come up this way and then just slide if I have to where I know the places that I want to grab hold of. And that way I don't have to worry about the sidebar stuff and all that. But then when it does end though, you have to just kind of be watching because at the very end, you'll get that tile thing up at the end. So usually I'm just watching to make sure I click out just right at the end there in case something weird comes up in the middle of the tile thing. So, I don't know, hope that's helpful, but it's kind of a fun little thing, and I like to use a lot of YouTubes in my lecture in order to break it up because, people go to sleep if I just keep talking. And so that makes it kind of fun. I just put my little flyer up on here. What it is, I'm going to talk about YouCam 6, and it's a capture software, brings in video and audio, but the thing I like about it, a lot of the capture software has a little box in the corner, and that's all you get. This one you can do a lot of different things with, and the nature of the students today, they got about a 10-second attention span. If you ever watch TV, it's really interesting. Sometime when you're watching advertisements or watching a show, start counting and see how long it takes before there's a change in scene, a change that they start motioning, or they flip to a new scene, or they fade out. It's normally about 4 to 5 seconds. It's constantly going, and not just ads, but I mean even on news reports and so forth. Even if it's just a fixed frame, they'll start to move it. But there's always something within about 4 or 5 seconds, so that's kind of the way that people are geared. Some students kind of relate to video better than live, I think. It might be controversial, but it'd be interesting if anybody's in psych or education. I can suggest a really good study for you. The weirdest thing that ever happened to me was about last semester. I put up a YouCam 6 thing that I did for one of our flipped classes, and I said, how many people have seen this? And no hands went up. I said, okay, before we get started, let's at least look at what I put out here. And so I put up on the screen from Angel the thing I'd saved on YouCam 6 for explaining what the project was going to be about. And every single, it was weird, it was eerie, every eye in the room, about 70 students, every one of them put down their stuff, folded up their stuff, and they're just riveted on the screen. I'm standing here, they're all looking up there. I don't get that attention when I'm live, but man, when I was on the screen, man, I mean, I'm almost like thinking I'm going to put a camera here and put myself up there, because that's what they relate to. It's really amazing, and it'd be interesting to do a study where you go between the two and see, you know, with a little camera watching the students and see what the attention is. I think it'd be really fascinating, but anyhow. Use of the pen tool, it also has that to keep things highlighted. It bridges the face-to-face gap on flipped classes, because a lot of times on a flipped class, when you're trying to explain what it is you're going to do in class, that's the project, a lot of times you find that you know, you lose that face-to-face kind of contact, and it's just, you know, it's just slides and maybe a voiceover. And not that that's bad, but I find for myself it's a lot more engaging if you can get video in there. Some of the positives, and we'll have negatives also, and I'll actually show you some stuff here with YouCam 6. Positives, Cyberlink, a really good company, top honors from PC Magazine, bunch of others for a long time. Very easy to learn, very quick, very intuitive. A lot of online tutorials, have a pen tool, which is cool. Easy interface with YouTube, just a few clicks and it's out there. Uses camera and mic built into most laptops, like this right here. And I'll show you something I did last night, took me about 3.5 minutes. Negatives, it's $35. You know, I'm cheap, but that's I can afford that. Slow to download, need to click off the free browser and other software things. But yeah, when you're downloading that thing, it takes a long time. It's a big file. But there's usually, you know, oh, you know, you're going to want Norton, whatever. You're going to want this kind of browser. And so make sure you're clicking those things off as you go, because that's how they get their money. And it's out of New Zealand. Doesn't allow for editing, which is too bad. So when you start, you better know what you're going, but you can always record and re-record. Doesn't allow for PowerPoint active elements, and so you have to kind of do a little workaround on that if you can. Also doesn't allow for active links. In other words, I can't click out to the internet and bring that in from YouTube and so forth. And so it's basically just the PowerPoint that you've got plus your video and audio. But the thing that's nice is, again, the different screens saves. And externally, you need a YouTube channel to post your videos, and YouTube uploads and cataloging are kind of slow. The one I put up last night, I waited an hour and it still hadn't cataloged, so I couldn't load it into Angel by the title, so I just did a link. I just said, phooey on the title, I'm just linking in, and that's quick, and I'll show you how to do that. So I got the handout, just went through that. I'll show you Cyberlink because they did mention it in the handout too. This is its $34.95 standard price, and right there, use my pointer. But it's a really cool program, and they also have other programs that I use as well that are really fun. But I'll give you an example. This is 3.5 minutes if you can stand it, but it'll show you. I did this. I just sitting in my office for about 3.5 minutes. Just put this together. I had my slides.
This is a quick video to explain some of the features of YouCam 6. I imported some slides that I thought might be of interest, and if you notice here, this is about 44-point type, and so it is possible to, right there, it is possible to be able to see slides even down in the corner like this, but you just check off it and you get rid of the little circle. But the nice thing about this is that you can change it around pretty frequently, and there we go. I can go away, or I could be everything, and so it's a very versatile kind of a program, and it enables you to make enough variation that it keeps the students' interest. Is one thing that I found. So we'll just do a quick little presentation on negotiation, and you'll soon discover why this is not a class that I teach. I'm going to talk about open-ended
apologies to anyone that does
negotiations
teach it.
and closed-ended negotiations. And so we'll start here with open-ended negotiations. And it's also called the buddy technique. And what it basically boils down to is the dog here, you'll notice, has a sock in its mouth right there. There's the dog with the sock. And so he says, I've got it. You want it. What's it worth to you? And so then the negotiation begins. And so we usually start out initially with a milk bone. And if that isn't sufficient, then eventually we work our way up to cheese, and we'll sometimes be able to negotiate the release of the captive sock. So, getting back to the principles of negotiation here, there's also another way of negotiating, and this one is called the closed-ended negotiation, or better known as the ginger technique. And what that involves is the dog that you notice there, named Ginger, and it basically comes down to, you've got it, I want it, I can outlast you. And the result of that generally turns out to be this, because she doesn't negotiate really with much of an open mind toward things. She can sit there for 20 minutes and you look down and she's still there. So that's the closed-ended technique. So I just wanted to give you a quick understanding of some of the different things that can be done with YouCam 6. And the nice thing is that by varying the presentation to where you can emphasize, if you want, for the time that you're talking with your students and you really want to drive a point home, then you just put yourself on the screen. And you can put yourself in the corner of the slide, or you can put the slide in the side of where you are. As long as you're somewhere in the neighborhood of about a 44-point or a 40-point type, you can even see the slide in the corner if you want to. So it's very versatile. It's a lot of fun. It has some drawbacks, and we can get into those as well, but I thought you might enjoy this, and I'm going to post this to YouTube so we can use it on Tuesday.
I had to get my doggies in there. So, but yeah, it's really kind of cool, and so it's very simple to work with, and so to record and post to YouTube, just to kind of give you a real quick overview of how that would work. There we go. I need to save that. Yeah, I've got glasses here somewhere. There we go. But look at that. There we go. So what you do, you just launch YouCam 6, and there we go. Then just say capture, do presentation, create presentation. And let's see, where's my stuff? Here's my presentation. Actually, the presentation is loaded in here, but I'll get rid of it just so you can see how easy it is to load. You just grab it and drop it in over here, just like that. Just drag it over. And then all your slides will populate here, just like that. And so if I wanted to start a recording right now, it also has a pause. In other words, I can hit this red button again if I wanted to pause. And so it's recording now out of my mic and speaker that are built in. And I'll just, go through a couple slides here. And say, for instance, I wanted to have my full face on there. If I wanted the slide in the corner, if I want just the slide, or if I want my face down in the corner. And then they also have this one. I don't use it very much, but it's there. But what I like about it is that you can vary it. And so the students, when they're looking at it, they're seeing changes and they're seeing things different. And it just kind of keeps their interest a little better. And so I'll just close it off here. If I wanted to pause. And so it's recording now out of my mic and speaker that are built in. And I'll just, go through a couple slides here. And say, for instance, I wanted to have my full face on there. If I wanted the slide in the corner, if I want just the slide, or if I want my face down in the corner. And then they also have this one. I don't use it very much, but it's there. But what I like about it is that you can vary it. And so the students, when they're looking at it, they're seeing changes and they're seeing things different. And it just kind of keeps their interest a little better. And so... So what I do too is I will sometimes get back away from the camera and actually walk around within my office and be able to gesture a little bit more. And so it makes it a lot more fun for me, at least, and possibly for them. But for instance, if I wanted to load this up then to YouTube, I just, whoops, come on, there we go, click there, check that box, and then just tell it, go to YouTube. And then it'll ask for authorization, because I already have a file out there. And so what you have to do is you have to create I have a couple of different accounts. And so you just go there, and then you click accept, and off it goes. And so now it's loading up to YouTube. It's a slow process to get it into YouTube. Well, not quite yet. I have to also give it the title and such. But once you title it and stuff, up she goes. And then I wouldn't load that because that's just kind of miscellaneous stuff. That's about all you have to do is just a few clicks of the mouse, and then it's into YouTube. Once it's into YouTube, then I can link it into to Angel, and I'll show you that just real quickly here. Let's see. There's Firefox. And see, is this going to get me there? Maybe. Let me just pop in there real quick. What I did, I put it in one of my summer classes because nobody can look at it yet. So here under lessons somewhere, content, let's see, where are my lessons? There we go. The 345, yeah, no, hold on, that's wrong. Where did I put that? 346? Oh, maybe I put it in my Pullman 45. Let's take a look here. I think that's where I put it. Yeah, that's a little different because that's not pre-configured. There we go. So this is a flash link into, and I'll show you how to do these real quickly. This is that same video, and it just took me a minute to load this up into Angel using Flash. So it runs right in Angel over a Flash player. Another thing, you can just put any kind of a photo in there, or just a picture of a camera, or whatever you want to do, and then just put a link to it, an HTML link, and click on that, and then you can go out as well. And what's nice about it is when you do it with a link, you can specify that little underlined pop-up, so it comes up full screen like this. And so that's one of the nice things, that when you do link it out, you can determine how that link is going to work. Not so much when you're doing the embed. But basically all you have to do is go to Lessons, and then add content, and create a page right there. And when that comes up, there we go. You can put a picture, you can cut and paste a picture in if you want. And let's see. That should shrink down, there we go. Like so. So if you have a little picture like this, you can just copy it. There we go. Paste it, and then highlight it, and then do a link to the web right there with the URL, and then put that little underlined pop-up in there, and you're in good shape. And so that's one way to do it, and that way you don't have to wait for YouTube to come around. If you want to wait an hour or two till it's not the loading up, it's the cataloging of it, because you can't find it if they don't have a catalog. And so if you go over to here to where it says G for Google, and say find, it should be there now. Tuesday, Buddy and Ginger. Oops. Okay, so that's the title of it. Hopefully it'll find it. There it is. And so now I'd be able to do the embed because it's now findable. But last night for an hour it wasn't. And sometimes I don't have the patience to wait for that long. And so I just go ahead and put a picture in, usually a picture of a video camera, and then just put a link to it. So it makes it pretty simple to get it up into Angel, and students can then look at it. I use it primarily when I'm flipping classes and I need to give them all the background information they need to be able to do the project that we do in class. So it's a lot of fun. I really love doing this stuff. And show you something. Well, no, I won't do that. Anyhow, I've got other software programs. I've got a green screen in the back of my office I can pull across and do all kinds of fun stuff. Well, let's see. Well, this was just a fixed object, but there we go. See, I can put anything behind me I want. This time, this was just the background set, but I can also have palm leaves swaying in the background, and I've got a webcam I capture from down in Costa Rica. And I use that usually in the middle of winter, put it up on the screen for the guys to watch. So anyhow, any questions? Fun stuff.
Right. Do you want to switch Brett over?
Okey
No
dokey.
questions for James?
Thanks for your attention.